All right, everyone, it's quite funny because when Trump offers federal involvement in multiple cities around the country to help quell rioting communists, he's rejected flat out by 9/10 of these mayors that are running these far-left urban areas. But when he says, okay, well then I don't think you need federal money because you're not doing your job. You're derelict in your duties. Your people are suffering. Why should the taxpayers of the rest of the country have to give you fucking funding? All of a sudden, they really, really want that federal intervention now, don't they? They really want the federal money. They just don't want the federal police in there to actually restore order because then their grift ends. Their political grift begins to weaken. So you got a situation here where Cuomo there was like I guess Trump was talking about withdrawing funding from New York City. The idea is that these cities, at least in part, have fallen into anarchy because their mayors, and in some cases the governors of the states, are simply unwilling to police things and uphold the law. And it's clear, they have the manpower to quell these riots. They're just not willing to do so for political reasons. That's a guarantee. They have the ability. Lori Lightfoot has enough Chicago PD and enough fucking SWAT teams and state police that she can call in and everything else under the sun. You could deploy thousands of additional men in Chicago. The riots and looting would stop overnight. Everyone would get arrested. It's easy. Look at Ferguson. Didn't take very long to quell things there. A couple nights later, everything was more or less calm. Even with the LA riots, the first major modern example of this sort of thing happening, 2 days later, there weren't that many more broken windows. Night 1, insanity. Night 2, lots and lots of arrests. The insanity peters off. By night 3, people sort of got the hint. That's not happening here, though. It's been 3 goddamn fucking months in some of these places. Cuomo comes out and says, after Trump says, okay, no more federal money for New York City. We're going to explore ways to cut you off from the teat. Grow up and stop being a big whining fucking ass baby. Trump better not show up here unless he has a private army because New Yorkers aren't going to take too kindly to him, basically threatening the President of the United States. By the way, a really, really great way to make him double down and say, well, it may have just been sloganeering 10 minutes ago, but now I'm serious. Cuomo is going to lose tens of millions in federal grant money. I agree with this. It's just like defunding sanctuary cities, which, by the way, federal courts didn't uphold. I think it's still pending SCOTUS, if I remember correctly. It takes a while in the judicial system. Basically, they're trying to run out the clock and hope Trump doesn't get reelected so he can torture them for 4 more years, especially when Ginsburg keels over. Trust me, re-electing Trump will give you the most epic salt ever. If you're not enthused about Trump right now, you're like, well, he didn't build enough of the wall, he didn't deport enough people. Okay. Just imagine when Ginsburg dies, and imagine the tidal wave of goddamn salt from the left as they fly into a fit. And even the Republicans, by the way, will try to kind of sort of sell Trump out on that one, like the Mitt Romneyites. Trust me, they'll side with the liberals, and it'll be funny. It'll be anarchy. Vote for him, if for no other purpose, vote for him for the epic fun that we're going to have when Ginsburg croaks in the next 4 years, because she's obviously going to. Anyway, Cuomo was livid, all these other, like Ted Wheeler and all these other mayors and governors. No, you can't take federal funding away from us. But at the same time, the federal government can't also send police in to actually do the job. Mayor of Kenosha or whatever, Portland, Seattle, all these other places, LA, San Francisco, places where you've got rioting and looting and all sorts of other problems, where the mayors appear unable or unwilling. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that it can be one of the two, either unable or unwilling to solve the problems that are affecting the local population. You've got regular average people. They're not Nazis. They're not hateful. Half of them support BLM anyway, including as the Marxist organization, not just the basic slogan that 99% of the population has no problem with. And they're being abused. They're being harassed. They're having like fucking shit thrown at their houses. Their kids woken up at 2 a.m. and fucking terrified by a bunch of masked people waving guns outside of their property and weird shit like that. And the mayors and stuff here, half the time, like Ted Wheeler is relocating from his normal apartment because a bunch of peaceful protesters started lobbing fireworks at it and burning a dentist's office to the ground in the same building. This has happened more than once. Lori Lightfoot declares a no-protest zone for a block around her house because she needs her sleep, just like she needed a haircut. She was the proto-Pelosi on that one. You remember months ago during the height of the lockdown restrictions when she went to a salon? And it was really, really funny and it was newsworthy, but she just said, well, I needed a haircut. I need to look good on TV. People of Chicago probably re-elect that fucking moron too. Now, Yeah, you should. In fact, why is federal money going to any city for like public use projects? Why are we pumping a bunch of taxpayer money into the cities anyway? Should be every man for themselves on the local level. The cities are supposedly so great, the people there are so intelligent, so much better than those bumpkins outside of the city limits. Well, then you should be able to figure out a budget now, right? But instead, they're repeatedly insolvent. You have places like Detroit, they can't even keep the fucking streetlights on half the time. Those problems are uniquely urban in nature. Now, of course, you need certain public works, like a la the Roman aqueduct system, like New York City has a bunch of water piped in from 100 miles to the north. Okay, that requires multiple counties to coordinate together and stuff. But it doesn't really need to involve the federal government. I'm uncomfortable with any of my federal tax money going to cities that are spawning groups of rioting communists. I don't think that's proper. If you're not going to uphold law and order, if you're not going to conform to the law as previous administrations at the state and local, not just federal level, have made certain rules, if you're not willing to follow them, then yeah, you should definitely have that money removed. And hopefully that's an impetus for the people of that city or the people of that metro region or whatever to vote the bums out and get new bums in there that at the very least will deploy the police. That's about all. Peace out.